Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Global Heart Healing Conversations. And I just want to tell you, I'm so excited for you to get to meet Philip Elisa. He's a dear friend, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know him and work with him, and even meet him when we went on vacation last year in Malaga, where he lives. So this is a dear friend, and he's also, well, I'll let him share the rest of his life and what he does, and partnerships, etc. So thank you, Phil.
Oh, thank you, Joy. Thank you. Hello. Yes, my name is Philip Elisa. I'm at the moment in Malaga, Spain, but most of my activity is online and in the ether. I like to combine a couple of things. I started as a computer scientist, and I didn't like my job at all. It was so draining. But I had a passion, and my passion was spirituality, personal development, but still keeping it practical. And I found something that truly changed my life, and that's the Akashic Records and Akashic Record reading. And they started, the Akashic Records and the information that comes through started to guide me through me becoming one of their teachers. There are many teachers. I became one of them. I stopped my computer job, and now I'm living absolutely in my passion. I use the Akashic Records to help other people, especially people that are not fully in their place yet, that are not feeling they're living their purpose yet. I help together with my Akashic Record connection to get them to their purpose so that they can be and very happy with what they're doing and be prosperous at what they're doing. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm very grateful to Joy. We met before I was even knowing about the Akashic Records. We met even before that was a thing. So I'm yeah. You saw me stepping into that space while I was still in the computer science world, and it's been a
Yeah,
very beautiful wild ride. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm very grateful.
yeah. And I met you actually through a beautiful online summit, and just there were a few people that just really just sparked and shone out, and you were one. And I also know later you started doing meditations for that group, but also Elif was one. And at the time, you all weren't together, but I also was. So that was like 5 years ago,
Exactly.
4 years ago, maybe. Okay. Um,
Long
and
time.
yeah, and I was with that group for 5, 6 years, seven. I'm still kind of with them, but I now global heart healing just came sprang to life through my heart, and literally my heart, once I healed my heart wall, it just started recognizing and discerning, and just literally informing me, catch up with this one, catch up with this one, you need to, like, it's like grab hold hands, get ready for the ride of your lives. You've got stuff to do. And at that point, you were just also meeting our dear Elif, who now works with and for me, and is with you, right?
Yes, she's in the
So
room
for
next to
those
me.
who don't know that, just giving you guys a little glimpse into the background of our lives. Um, and they weren't together; they lived in different countries, and it's a magical story all on its own, and one we can tell another day.
Yeah, if you want to go into there, of course, I would love to share. But yeah,
I
it's
would
amazing.
love to have both of you on and talk about that. I would
Oh,
love to
let's
do that
go.
also with my husband Doak, and I
Oh
mean it would
yeah,
be so much fun because we just have, and people can all have that. People can have those kinds of harmonious, heart serving relationships.
yeah. Let's have a conscious couple podcast.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay. So we'll have all of Phil's information and links below this video in YouTube when you see it. and I'm looking forward for you to get to see his magical work. But let's get into him telling you a little more about that. So, Phil, can you tell us about your healing journey and what first led you to the path of becoming a healer? You kind
Oh,
of touched on it, but maybe a little more.
yeah, yeah. My healing journey started conscious. I like it's interesting. I have a conscious and a subconscious start of my healing journey. Subconsciously, it started earlier than consciously. Um, Consciously, it started with me in my first year of computer science. I was 19 years old. I was very shy. I was very nerdy. I liked games and I liked mathematics. I like these kind of things. And I had a mindset of complete, you know, I will just be a nerd all of my life and it's going to be good. I don't need a relationship. I have my games. I have a couple of my nerd friends. They love to the same music. I had really not really any ambitions or growth mindset or anything. But in my first year of computer science, I met a couple of older years and they said to me and the group that I was friends with, they saw that we were a little bit more social than the rest. And they said, like, hey guys, you can actually learn how to become more confident. You can actually learn how to express yourself the way you want to express yourself. You can actually learn how to become secure inside of yourself. And my jaw just dropped, and I was like, "What?" I thought I would be insecure and non-social and not confident my whole life. I just thought the popular kids were confident, and the unpopular kids, the alternative kind of background people, were just not that. And that was just my mindset, right? So they blew my mind, and I went into studying what they were giving to us. They gave us a couple of teachers. We went to YouTube. We started studying, and one of the first thing that these teachers said was, "Okay, you have to stop drinking alcohol and you have to start meditating." I was like, "What? That's an interesting advice." So because on alcohol, you have the feeling everything goes well and you feel confident and you feel loose and you feel all of that. But actually, you're numbing part of yourself and you don't want to live from a numbing place. You want to be able to do this from actually a fully aware and sober and present place. So we started 19-year-old and 18-year-old group of people, all guys. We started to become more confident and we started meditating. We started to stop drinking alcohol while we were surrounded with drunk students. And we started to get into the social part of personal development first. But the meditating, yes, it helped with getting out of my head. So it had the same loosening effect that alcohol had. But the meditating gave me so much more that I didn't expect. And that's where I feel my healing journey started consciously. Then through meditation came breath work, and through breath work came energy work. And I started to just get more aware of my body and all of these things. And at one point, the emotion code came through you, Joy, through meeting you online. And I started to release a lot of heart wall emotions and a lot of emotions inside of myself. I went completely crazy on that. And I think a year or two after, the Akashic Records came and Reiki as well came. And these two together made me all of a sudden very aware and very opened up to the energetical plane that I wasn't before. I want to quickly go back just to talk about why I said there was also an unconscious part of the start of my healing journey. The unconscious part that I only was relating back to way later. I didn't realize this, but I was so motivated to step into this healing journey and into the personal development, especially in the first 5 years. And I didn't know, but actually, because my reality got shattered a couple years earlier, and that was my mom. She was in a very intense time, and she started to land in a psychotic state. She got a psychosis for a long time. She was months in a psychotic state. She didn't understand anymore. She felt reality became very hostile. She started to think that every friend of hers was possessed by the devil, and everyone wanted to kill her, and everyone. And it was, I was 16, my brother was 14, and it was a very shocking and reality breaking experience at the time. We moved in with my dad, and I haven't talked with my mom back then for 3 years. So when I started my personal development journey, I was not talking to my mom. Maybe it was the communication was just opened up. But yeah, there was a big break, and after we connected again, I didn't feel like was my mother anymore. She just felt like someone that I did. She kind of knew me all along, but yeah, it felt so weird. Um, that, on hindsight, was actually when my healing journey started, because it broke my reality and it made me very curious about what the mind was able to do. And it made me very distrustful when it came to woman and connection with woman, because the big woman, providing woman of my life, suddenly, completely threw us
Wasn't.
away and said that everyone was possessed by the devil. And that was a big break. But that big break resulted in me really wanting to know also how to become more confident, so that I could be more confident to women, and to develop me and myself socially, so that I could prove myself that I was still worthy, kind of. I didn't realize that. It didn't feel to me like this. But on hindsight, at one point when I was 5 years in my journey, I was 24 at the time, I look back and I was like, oh, wait a second. I understand why I was so motivated. I felt in my subconscious that I had something to heal, to fix, a gap to close. And it made me a very, like it gave me so much growth, it gave me so much development, that now I can truly say that was one of the best things that happened in my life. And also the relationship with my mom completely healed. First it felt weird, but in the later years, at the moment, she feels like my mom again. And everything became all right. And me and my brother both were able to talk to my mom at one point, saying, "Mom," when she was apologizing, and she was like, "Man, I cannot believe that my mind went there," and And we said, like, "Mom, for both of us, this has become the best experience of our life. We wouldn't have grown so fast. We wouldn't have questioned reality in such a way. We wouldn't have even the urge to better our lives, because all of a sudden the feminine force of our life was missing. So somehow we needed to get that back through another energy form. And that energy form in both of our ways was to learn more, and to learn how to go with the flow, and to learn how to nourish ourselves, and to it was a beautiful journey. So that's what I said at the beginning. There is a conscious and an unconscious part, because I didn't realize it until way later, that actually that break with my mom was the first moment I started doubting and questioning realities in ways that gave me better answers than I ever had before.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I feel the same, and I feel like that's a really, when people start to understand that life is not really happening to us, it's
Yeah.
happening for us and through us, um, then you can look deeper into every situation happening in your life. And I've kind of told my story, so we won't go into that. But my panic choker, where I thought I was going to have a heart attack every night, um, and turns out a whole lot of probably some of the similar things that your mom was going through, but mine was very physical, not mental.
Mm.
Um, anyway, all of that led me to where I am.
Exactly.
And
And
I
you
also
would.
know that you are originally from the Netherlands. We haven't mentioned that. Um, and you have traveled extensively. And we also, another thing that I have not traveled extensively, and I'm from the US, obviously, but one thing we both have in common is we both really love Jim Rohn.
Oh my God, Jim Rohn is amazing.
And for those of you who don't know who Jim Rohn is, he's no longer alive, but his works are easy for you to find. One of my most favorite quotes of all time from him is, "It's not the course of the wind, it's the set of the sail that will determine your course in life."
Mm.
It's not the direction of the wind, it's the set of the sail. And you always control the set of the sail. You can shift your energy, you can change, you can maneuver your boat, your life into a different direction, but it does have to be a conscious choice.
Oh,
So,
yeah. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched a Jim Rohn video yet, he's so genius. He
oh,
talks
yeah.
so beautiful. Also, how he uses his language, and
Yes.
how he asks questions. His presentations are absolutely genius. And the big, like the Tony Robbins, one of the biggest names in the personal development space. Jim Rohn was his mentor.
Yeah.
One of the business coach that I'm currently having, Jim Rohn was his mentor. So you see, he was so influential in the early personal development. And you saw him live, right? Like we talked
Oh,
about.
I you many times. He was my personal mentor.
Oof.
Um, he actually had an exclusive contract with the company that I was working with, and he was our personal development coach for all of us. And he was very dear friends with one of my organization, and so we got to see him a lot.
Oh,
It was he literally gave me presentations when I did magnificent things, and I have pictures, and yeah, I
oof. I'm a
feel
little bit
truly
jealous of
blessed to have gotten
that.
to know him.
Yeah.
But everybody can still get to know him through the magic of technology and video. So if you haven't looked him up, please do. Well, maybe we'll figure out one special video we really like, and we can put it in the bottom of your links if you
Yeah,
like.
let's do that. Yeah, it would be amazing for people to get to know you.
Okay, so now we're moving to the next question. What does heart healing mean to you personally?
Wow. This is funny because I am at the moment channeling a book that is all about how to live from the heart. I think before you can live from the heart, you need to heal the heart. We personally, I see it very, I would say almost metaphorically, like our subconscious and our mind is really good in protecting us. And the most vital part to protect is the heart. So, what our subconscious has been doing when there were moments where we couldn't or we didn't know how to protect ourselves, it kind of put whatever it got and built a wall. We already talked both about the heart wall. It builds a wall in front of the heart, can be a huge wall. So when everybody comes close, there is kind of a emotional spurt, and so that person cannot come close. Or whenever a situation come close that is linked with something you haven't processed all right, that can gives panic or that gives an immediate like response, an emotional trigger. So it's kind of, for me, heart healing. The first step is brick by brick removing that wall with great attention and love and acceptance. Um, and then you become more open. And from that open state, you can learn how to love and accept. And an accept is a weird word because you can just say like, oh, everything is okay in the world. No, there are definitely things that are happening that are not okay. But what I mean with accept is see if you can look at it from a place of non-judgment. Like for example, the psychosis. The psychosis, in a way, it's not okay. That my mom believes everyone like is not okay, but it was the best thing that happened in my life at one point. So there are a lot of things that are currently not okay, and we don't have to find them okay. But can we look at them without judgment, and can we look at them from a place of trust, like in the bigger picture of life? Will this will benefit humanity? And we might see the effects of it in our lifetimes, we might not, but can we look at it like that? So more acceptance, like from a place of non-judgment, will come into the heart. And then the stage where I'm currently really practicing the most at is seeing my mind not as the main part of my being, but seeing my heart as the main part of my being, as the core, as the center, seeing the mind as an amazing secondary servant and device, and an amazing tool that can do so many things, but not seeing it the main thing. And that's really against the conditioning of society, because we have been uh, graded and praised or not praised uh, on our mental intelligence and how much we can use the computer that is here. Yeah, like even on a young age, you get into different gradations based on things. And I went to university, so basically my mind was working very well, but that at one point I needed to unlearn all of that and all of that praise and all of that things, because it's not our main center. The heart is our main center. The heart is our core. So that's what it means for me personally. I really see it as in these three stages of first removing the wall, then letting the emotions and the feelings of love and acceptance and being in the moment uh, arise in your life. And then the stage where I'm currently at, maybe there are more than three stages, but the stage where I'm currently at is here is my
Yeah,
center. Here, this is me, and this is just an antenna with a lot of senses.
exactly.
That is really really good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things that Dr. Nelson says is he actually thinks the heart is the
Mm.
first brain. And I think that's true because our
Mm, yeah.
heart starts beating when we just have four cells.
Yeah.
And the other thing that all that you were saying, I wanted to clarify. I don't guess I mentioned that Phil is one of our core group practitioners of global heart healing. I mentioned he was a dear friend, but he's part of our core group of practitioners. And also, we have our mission, which is really about the heart. And our mission statement is at Global Heart Healing, we awaken the heart's consciousness and radiate healing love and light all around the world.
Mm.
And that's what we're doing. That's what we're all doing in a lot of different ways. And also feel such an honor to get to work with you when we did the heart healing, the heart wall removal, and you just took it and ran with it, and it's just so beautiful to watch your growth and be part of it along the way.
Yeah, and
So
thank you for opening me up to the world of emotion code, because of that I even learned I had a heart wall. I had a huge one. I had a huge one. I really had multiple healing sessions before I had my first feeling what it means to live without a heart wall. Like
yeah,
that's a unique experience that
it's
I
really,
hope everyone has. Like I really wish that to everyone.
yeah.
It's
And
so
it's
good.
interesting to me. I do think that there's, the amount of healing that people are doing can work that way, but specifically heart wall healing is something from the emotion code, body code, and now the belief code. Um, and it's just probably 97% of adults in the world have one. There's trauma happens. And when our heart is the most vital organ in our body, as well as a thinking center, as well as our creativity, because there's 40,000 imaginal cells that put in place everything that we're creating. We are creating our lives, whether we think so or not, we are. And so our heart is so pivotal to our survival and our thriving that's why the subconscious mind in its brilliance, when the heart is in danger, will build a heart wall to serve as armor to protect us. And it's fine while we need it. But once we no longer need it, then it's kind of like living in a bomb shelter. And your heart, even like what you were describing earlier, the panic, also, it can even just be as simple as because you have this heart wall, you actually hear words differently. Messages are muffled. Love words are tainted. You just don't hear them right because your heart is in this chamber of protection that is no
Yeah.
longer needed. But you'll have to find the right time for that to be when you are ready to release that. Oh, this is such a fun. I'm loving this so much, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I a little bit like, isn't it
Absolutely.
funny? Isn't it funny that we have two brains, and that this brain is most of the time being split into a left and a right brain, and this brain not, right? So it's really
Mhm.
like you never most people never talk about the left
Exactly.
heart and the right heart.
That's right.
There's one heart, but there are kind of two brains at work, and it's really when you come from here, everything seems dual. There is good and bad and left and right, and there's all these different oppositions. While
Yes.
the
It's
heart
just
sees,
binary where this is
yeah,
not.
this brain looks at the same thing not as oppositions. It looks at them as one unified construct that is constantly improving and helping each other. So
Yeah.
you also, by living here, you completely remove yourself from the almost like the drama of the world, where you see these political systems constantly discussing. That would not be a thing if the heart would be literally the first brain. Everyone would see how both of the parties are actually helping us to evolve. So like that's a good thing, I think. And dark and light, the same thing. There is this dark and light thing, but the heart will be able to see how the dark helps the light and the light helps the dark, and how we evolve by that dance of darkness and light. And I have the feeling that living from here, it's such a the universe is so genius, and the creator is so genius, that it really created two brains here that are really good in seeing duality, and one brain here that is really good at seeing unity. How funny is that? you
It's
know
beautiful. It's beautiful. It's magic. It's
yeah.
divine design. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much. That was beautiful. So, what are some of the key practices and rituals that you use in your healing work?
Wow. um I have the feeling the main, it's always a combination, but the main premise that I work with is that everything is intelligence, and everything has intelligence. That means your cells have intelligence, your heart has intelligence, all of your organs have intelligence, your emotions have intelligence, but also your the space around you has intelligence, and even the material that whatever you have around you is made of has intelligence. Like a cell of a blade of grass knows it is a blade of grass because of the intelligence that inside of it. It's not a cell of a cow, it's a cell of grass. So, knowing that everything has intelligence, I like to speak with all of these intelligences to make very effective healing. And the Akashic Records really help me with that. So most of the time in my own practices, I connect with the records and I ask them, where is my alignment? And they give me what is my alignment. And whenever I'm not in alignment, instead of trying and grinding or completely removing myself, I see that as a intelligence. I'll like, okay, there is a procrastination energy in me. That is also an intelligence. Let me talk to that intelligence and let me see if I can locate it if it's somewhere in my body. Most of the time, it has a location literally inside of my body. And then I just talk to it as if it's a conscious being, not as if it's something that I want to shove away, but as a conscious being. And most of the time, what I have discovered, 100% of the time actually, is that every part of you is here to want the best of you. They just don't know how to best help you yet. So by talking to these intelligences is for me almost becoming the inner leader, and and they are kind of forced into a role they don't like to be in, and by having a conversation you can get them to a role where they love to be in. And the more you do that, or the more I do that, the more my whole system becomes tuned to what I want to do in what I want to, it naturally moves me into the role that I am here to fulfill, which is the purpose, which is the thing. So, for example, the procrastination part in me, I might think about that like, oh, it's holding me back. I am able to create more. But when I start talking about it, it's actually saying, like, hey, I have a fear of going too fast. I don't know if we are going to survive by going too fast. And I might talk to it about it, and I might ask it, okay, but what would you really love to be doing? I know you're currently in a role that holds me back from going fast, and I see you, but what would you actually love to be doing? And then it says, oh, I would love to spread love, or I would love to create beauty in the world. It's always a beautiful intention when I ask these parts that are actually stopping me from going into my full. When I actually talk to them, they're not stopping me because they want to stop me. They stop me because they're currently just holding on to a fear or onto a pattern or a guilt or a shame or something. And by asking them what do they truly want, and by seeing them as an intelligent part of me, I can communicate and I can say, hey, would you love to shift that? They always would love to shift that. Everyone and every part of me would love to be in the place where they can actually, where they would love to be in, right? Just like going from a job you don't like to a job you love. Um, I give them permission to move into that job, and I ask them, what do you need to change that? What do you need to, and sometimes they need to release it, and other times they want me to show them my current reality and what I have around me. And other times they need a little bit of time uh, before they fully trust that step, and then I also give them that time. So my main healing practice at the moment is talking to my whole being, and every seeing them as fractal parts of me, as if there's a lot of different intelligences that make up my full intelligence, to see them all as smart, to see them all as inherently good, and to guide them to step into the role that they truly love to be, and to give them the trust that they can remove themselves from the role that they are forced in. And this came to me through Akashic Record readings, actually, by other people asking questions about their life. It started to be received. And then it got confirmed later by a practice called IFS. So intuitively and in my sessions, I was already helping people with it, and I was starting helping myself with it. But then I was reading a book called No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz. And that book, this um, this therapist already did thousands of sessions based on the same premises. So I found that, and it was completely confirming what I found in my own practice, but I was just playing with it, and I was just helping people with it. And then the book came into my life, and it just gave me so much confidence. It really
Yeah.
works. It gave me so much, yeah. So that's what I'm currently using, and it helps. It's so effective. It's so
Yeah.
effective, and it's so
It's
respectful.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's so similar to what I do because we can get percentages of functionality and then they tell us what's wrong and we help them move that and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And there's so much we can do. That's the thing we hope that this will give you hope if whenever and wherever you're listening because there's always things we can do to help ourselves and it's not as hard as it sounds. It's much easier than you think. It's actually quite fun and enjoyable to shift energy really, really simply with
It's
pure
so much
intention.
easier. It's so much easier than trying to do it through other ways. Like you like the healing is so much more effortless when you move on the energy and awareness levels
Yeah,
because it can shift instantly. But if you try to move something on the physical level, it's such a grind. It's so hard,
yeah,
you know. It's like
yeah. And that's what I love about this is it's completely non-invasive.
yeah,
It really just works with your system. And there's no medication, there's no side effects. There's just, you know, there might be a little bit of energy processing, but that you can just celebrate because you can feel it's all moving and happening for you. So,
mhm.
okay, here we go. Can you share a transformative healing experience that deeply moved you, either as a healer or as a participant?
Wow, um, wow. Okay, there's so many popping up. Oh man, which were okay. Well, okay, there's a lot of them popping up, but let me like I think the one first when I healed my shyness, that was when I shifted from a mindset of stuckness to a mindset of growth. Like that was one of my biggest things inside of me, and when I saw that was truly changed, that helped me. But the one that gave me the confidence to step fully into this role is actually, I think, the one that I would love to share here. Well, but there were so many more popping in my mind, so I tried to keep it short. I was invited, like literally the second student that I had when I was still training to become a teacher of the Akashic Records. She loved it so much. She invited me 2 years after her lesson and after her initiation into the records. She invited me to come teach the same thing at the retreat. And I was still in my computer science job back then. But I was like, okay. And it was a month long retreat. So it was not just a little retreat, it was a month long retreat in Costa Rica. It was called the Reset Retreat. And Andra, my second student that I ever had in this field, when I was still doing it on the side, just as one on one little things, she was like, "Hey, would you love to teach this to the participants and be part of the retreat as well?" And I was, of course, like, "Yes, let's go." I never been to Costa Rica. I never been asked at that point to talk to a retreat, so it was very very beautiful opportunity for me. But what I didn't expect was that um, I gave that lesson, and normally I gave the lesson, and I initiate people into the records, and then they practice on their own. But now I gave the lesson, and I was still living. I literally lived with all these people in the same house. So we were like, okay, what wouldn't it be amazing to, after breakfast, practice for 15 minutes with the records? So I asked, can I do that? Right? Can I host a practice session every morning after breakfast? He said, of course. And what I saw was after I gave the lesson, I think I had 2 or 3 more weeks living together where I saw what truly happened when people practiced for only 15 minutes a day together. Um, Using the thing that I was teaching. And before that, I knew it was working. It had an amazing effect on my life. but I had no clue what the effect was on others' life. I was kind of naive and I didn't think much about it. But when I saw these people grow, and it was a group of 12 people, so I saw these people go from some people not even knowing and being very critical about channeling and the Akashic Records to channeling the most profound information about themselves in a matter of days, and seeing them getting better and seeing them being able to channel things, and being amazed at what I did, and the feedback that I got from that retreat, but also witnessing what happened was so profound. I saw people just starting receiving prophetic information about it. So they started to receive something in the morning, and in the afternoon they came to me and they said, "Oh, the Akashic Record said to me that I needed to dance on a deck." And I was like, "Which deck?" And they were like, "I don't even know what it means to dance on a deck." But then they had an event in the afternoon where on that location there was a big, beautiful deck. And as soon as they saw it, they started dancing on that deck. And when they started dancing on that deck, they started to feel so free and so synchronistic with life. And yeah, so that was happening with not just one person, but with 12 people in a group that I was living with. And that's when I really saw, like, whoa, I knew it was powerful on me, but I didn't expect, uh, yeah, I didn't expect it to be so powerful for everyone. So I saw everyone grow, everyone being able to channel, everyone being amazed with the information that they received and the love that we're getting and the trust in life they were getting back because of it. It was just absolutely profound. So that's I think the most that had the most impact on me because it allowed me to trust in what I in the work that I have been kind of guided by, but because it was guided by spirit, there was still a very critical mind part saying like, "What are you doing? What if you all make this up? Right? What if you all make this up?" That's a good point. But when I saw all these people just in front of my eyes transforming in a matter of days, I was like, okay, this was not made up. And this was so beautiful. So that is, I think, the most powerful experience I want to share. There are many more, but yeah,
That's
maybe for
beautiful.
another podcast.
Maybe so. Absolutely. So then I know that this is I love this question and it's going to be great for you. How do you integrate different cultural or spiritual traditions into your healing work?
Mm. Um, so I have the feeling at the beginning I more debunked cultural and spiritual things before I started using them because there's a lot of misinterpretation, I feel, and in the spiritual space and in the cultural space. I was also not so connected with my own culture of the Netherlands. I didn't feel much connected with it. I cannot also stay too much in that country, but lately I have been deeply inspired. I have for a while. I've been inspired by the East, by the yogic traditions, especially in many forms, in the form of breathwork, pranayama, in the form of Ayurveda, and in the form of the yogic practices, the Hatha yoga, the Kriya yoga, these kind of things. I have been trying them out, and every form of yoga had a beautiful effect on me. But lately, what has come to me is Kabbalah. And I didn't even know what Kabbalah was. But apparently, Kabbalah means receiving. And I am a big giver. I really need to learn how to receive. But it also means truly receiving what God is giving you. And yeah, I didn't know that actually what Kabbalists do is to read the sacred text incredibly slowly so that they can retrieve wisdom from it that is a little bit hidden in plain sight. So they are able to debunk the Bible, which is, yeah, at the moment I'm living. Spain is very Christian based at the moment, but also has a lot of Islamic and Arabic influences. Um, I'm I'm seeing through people that are really good in Kabbalah. I'm not a Kabbalist myself yet. Maybe I will be, but I'm studying people that have studied greatly the sacred text of the Judaism and Islam and the Bible and the Testaments, and the information that they are able to be received from that is absolutely profound. So I'm deeply inspired by them, and I am implementing this in my own life. So that means that you can interpret these things as literal stories, but you can also interpret these things as a manifestation Bible, for example. And you can become really great in manifestation by applying biblical principles to your own mind. And I didn't know. I didn't know. But that is coming from our culture and from our religions. And I never been religious in the traditional sense, but I've been inspired lately by people that are dissecting the sacred text and are re-invoking the true meaning, I believe. It makes so much more sense that the Bible is a huge manifestation Bible or document to me than that it's talking about all the sorrow and all the suffering and all the things. Like I really feel, and especially learning about these Kabbalists, these people that really study it, learning what they are able to extract from it is fascinating to me. It's so fascinating to me.
Nice.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. And you know, so much has been tampered with. Um,
yeah,
the original Bible, many of the books weren't even kept in there.
mm,
And one of the things that I love the most is that, we've all been very familiar with ask and ye shall receive. There was a very critical point left out of that. The words were ask, believe, receive. So you have
mhm,
to put on the cloak of belief and live in the feeling, and then you
yeah,
manifest it. That's how we shift energy. We have to be creating that vibration.
yes,
And it's beautiful. It's not hard, but it's hard if you don't have the true if you don't have the true words.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
just ask and receive, I mean, so many people just get very desperate and sad about that. They're like, but it's not happening, not
yeah.
happening.
I'm asking all
You
the
know?
time.
Yeah,
I'm asking
yeah.
all the time, why isn't it coming? I'm asking all the time, why is it coming? And that's something so beautiful. When people come to me with that, and they're like, why isn't it happening? Why isn't it happening? A very harsh but true answer is like, you don't look like a person for whom that is happening. Right? Like, even though I wish for you that it would happen, if you come to me like, I don't know why it's happening, I don't see you embody the abundance that you're asking for. I don't see you believing that that abundance is even true for you. I see you in a desperate state.
That's the energy. Yeah.
Right? A person that would truly receive abundance would look very different than the person that is asking that question to me right now. So it's a little bit of a rude answer sometimes, but I try to say it
You
with a lot of
know,
love. And it's really great
yes.
to
Yeah.
become aware of that, right?
And it's not fair to not give the true answer
Yeah,
because that's doing a disservice.
yeah,
So you have to figure out how to say it with compassion and tact. Um, but yeah, I've had a beautiful event like that happen very recently where I just wasn't willing
mm,
to put someone on the spot about whether or not what they were doing was serving their healing goal.
mm,
Um, and then we just did muscle testing on specifics. And it became so, so simple. And the clarity
Mm.
was just like that. Like
Oh,
their body knew, they didn't know. They'd been taught the wrong stuff to intake or to eat, to heal. And luckily, we got there. So we're on the right track again.
beautiful.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Ah, I feel the energy. It's so good, Phil. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy for everybody to get to hear and get to know you better.
Mm.
So, what advice would you give someone who feels disconnected from their heart or from love in their life?
Um, I would say um, I would ask them actually if they feel if their life is working for them first, because if they feel the life is working for them, then keep on enjoying your disconnected life. Like people are free to do what they love to do, but if they feel it's not working, but they don't see a way, then I would start a conversation and I would say, yeah, I would. Every person is different and will be from a different stage, but basically, I would show them that it's possible. First of all, that living from a connected place is truly awesome. It's it's moving. It's almost like going from the black and white television to the full 4K televisions that we have now. Um, like there's so many colors and splendor and deliciousness in life that I wish I could just give them all, but I think I can at least say that is possible for them. And I can give them methods based on what works for them to tap into those things. And what I would also love to say to such a person is change might not be easy in the moment at the beginning, but change will always bear incredibly beautiful fruits, and it will be so much easier than staying in your the place of dissatisfaction and misery. So I would help them with being good in change. I would show them a way of like what is possible to them. I would also love to show them a way of like, hey, change is gonna be uncomfortable. The solution lies out of your comfort zone by default. Otherwise, you would be living this right now. But you can get good in change, and there are a lot of things that make change easier. Um, Not easy, but easier. So I think I would, on a very abstract level, go in that direction. But the specifics will be
Right.
specifics will be for person to person. So yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, that will be the main angle I would go with.
Perfect. Thank you.
One
And how?
thing that comes up on that, one thing that
Hmm?
comes up on that is that I would also the biggest thing that I can do, and I would love to see more people do, is to let my being be a testament of what I'm saying. And I think that is one, like when I first went to spirit, I was already feeling very blissful, but I was completely not using different forms of grounding, so I was not relatable. And people just didn't make sense. They saw like, oh wow, he's happy all the time, but like I don't have no clue where to get there. But I later first I first I went from disconnection to very spending time in the ethereal and spiritual realms. But then I needed moments to get back to earth and deal with my earthly life, and only then I started to become relatable. So grounding is very important in that. But yeah, rather than my words and my advice, I would love that my being is the example, and that's really the the practice. That's really the practice. So I would love to, and then some people come up to me. I would love to have this happen even more. Uh, so to just say like, man, you feel so, life is so light around you. I feel so comfortable around being with you. What are you doing? you know, what are you doing? And yeah, that's a great way to start a conversation. So then actually just my being is the example that they are inspired by, and then the rest is easy
Yeah,
because they already see that it's possible.
absolutely. Absolutely. And last but not least, what does the role of community play in the healing process?
Wow. Community is absolutely everything. And I you have an amazing community that I'm part of. I'm building at the moment my own community. I'm launching it next week, depending on when you are listening to this conversation. You might already be able to join it. Community is everything, and I believe um, it is the most important thing, especially when you're not able to be with somebody, or if your current surroundings are not reflecting your current growth. Go into communities that are being in that current growth, right? Like if everyone around you, as soon as you start talking about the heart, everyone is like, "Pfft, heart, what are you talking about? Let's talk about the stock market." Then you might be in the wrong place, and it doesn't mean that you have to leave that place, but at least find a place like the global heart healing community where they're constantly tapping into the heart energy. And you are having all of a sudden a group of people that are all there where you can all talk to. How relieving it is for me to be in a space where everybody already knows about spirit is incredible. It's just incredible. But also video editing. I needed to learn how to video edit to be in a community where all people already know about video editing, and I don't have to uh, teach everyone, but everyone just knows. Is amazing. Business, same thing. I needed to start my own business to do what I do now. Yeah, there are in my surroundings there were not many successful entrepreneurs, so I needed to start looking for successful entrepreneurs. So community is everything because it really is so refreshing that, and you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. If you feel you are alone, find a community and let it prove to you that you are not alone. But next to that, it is so nice to be in a supporting space that is reflecting your growth. And nowadays, with the online resources that we have, and I think more than 70% of the world now having access to great internet, there isn't a better time to be globally connected with people that are in the same boat as you when it comes to your growth. And that's why I'm building my community, because I want to connect people that want to have a safe sanctuary. I want to share my. I want to build a space where people can, they can come in maybe feeling I don't know what to do, or maybe they just awakened and there's all this new information coming into their field. They have no clue what to do, and I can kind of bring them to a space of peace and safety and say, hey, you're not alone. And here are some really great frameworks to hold you and to start to embodying your power. There's so much focus at the moment on AI. And if you're into AI, there are AI communities out there. But what I don't like about it is there's so much focus on AI and the turmoil in the world that you might forget that you have an incredibly powerful body and that you're an incredible being. So my community will be on reminding you and showing you and being a space where you learn with other people how powerful your body really is and how you can tap into all of your energy resources and all of your energy centers. and talk with guides and Akashic Records and angels and all of these beautiful things, and at the same time to use the resources of the current world to make your dream come alive and become prosperous, doing your own thing instead of doing somebody else's thing. So that's my thing, and that's my community, and it's amazing to do that together, right? I'm currently a little bit doing it on my own, but I am in business communities, I'm in your community, I'm in spiritual communities, I'm in video editor communities, to be able to do my work. And now I'm making my own thing for everyone who wants to find that stable place and find that empowerment back into themselves. It's so important. So, yeah, find your community, become aware of where you are growing, where you want to, what you want to learn. And if there's nobody around you or only one or two people around you, find a place or physically in your area or online where there are many more people that are here to do the same thing. So it's so important. It's, I think, one of the most important things right now in our world is finding your people.
I agree. I agree. Oh, Phil, this has
Great
been
question.
beautiful. And we're right at the hour now. So I think that what we will do is invite you to share with us one of your Akashic readings in a video link in below this video. Would that work for you? Because I think people would love that to find out where to find more of your stuff.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Let if you are interested in the Akashic frequency, I am having more and more. It's an ever-growing library of channelings of different Akashic records on my YouTube. So let's find one that is also aligned with your audience, and let's link it. Yeah, amazing.
Perfect. Perfect. I think most of your stuff is aligned with our audience. So thank you so much, Phil. This has been just a true delight. And also, we are going to invite people to come. Depending on when you see this, you may see it later, but in July, we will have our 5th anniversary of Global Heart Healing. I was doing them before that, but became Global Heart Healing 5 years ago. And I'm hoping that Phil will be there. And we will be doing what we do. So come see us July 19th,
Yeah, yeah,
2025.
it's incredible. You know, I think very recently after you went global heart healing, we joined your group because it was 2020. It was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe in August or September, or somewhere there, just a couple months after July, we joined your global heart healing space, and it's been such a delight growing with you and being with you. So, thank you for giving me
Absolutely.
this opportunity to share.
Thank
And
you
yeah,
so much for being here. I feel like these conversations should become normal, everyday conversations. And I
mhm.
think we will start seeing that happen over the next
Mm.
few years.
Wow,
Anywhere, everywhere, you can talk to someone about
so beautiful.
this. So thank you for bringing us your healing journey. Thank you for being here today. And I love you.
Oh, I love you too, Joy. Thank you so much. Mwah.